Now tonight, a shocking revelation, one which could deeply upset our neighbours. Australians and New Zealanders have bickered for years over the origins of the pavlova, but the lamington is generally considered to be an Australian creation.
That is, until tonight. New evidence from deep in the archives suggests the lamington is in fact a New Zealand original. Julian Lee with this exclusive and controversial report.
Let's just admit it already, the lamington was invented in New Zealand. And don't let any Aussie tell you otherwise. So what is a lamington? It's a delicate yellow sponge cake that's been dipped in raspberry or chocolate, sprinkled with coconut and stuffed with whipped cream and jam. You can actually find a lot of variations of lamingtons around the world. And the closest thing in the US would be a snowball or a raspberry zinger. And look how similar they actually are. Cream filling, vanilla cake, mystery red coating. But let's be honest guys, there is no comparison. Nothing can beat a classic lamington. So today I'm going to show you how to make both raspberry and chocolate versions, and also I'm going to reveal the secret ingredient that gives the raspberry lamington its incredible colour. Start by greasing an 8 by 8 inch cake pan and then line with parchment paper. Beat 4 eggs till nice and frothy. And this is exactly the texture we're looking for. Now gradually add 1 cup of powdered sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Whisk until ribbons coming off the whisk attachment remain on the surface for a couple of seconds. Sift 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon baking powder into egg mixture. I like to sift the flour over a large surface area so that it only takes a minimal amount of folding to get the eggs and the flours together. Drizzle in 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Carefully place your cake batter into your pre-greased cake pan. Place into a 350-degree preheated oven for 30 minutes. You'll know when the sponge is done because the top will be golden brown and a toothpick will come out dry as a bone. Let the sponge cool and then place in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Place sponge on chopping board and cut 2-inch cubes. We're going to take off all the outer crust, which will allow for better absorption of the coating. Carefully cut the sponge into 2-inch cubes. Place the cubes in the refrigerator for another 30 minutes so they dry out. Serious Lamo aficionados will tell you that the defining measure of a quality lamington is the jam. So we're going to take it to the next level and make our very own raspberry jam. Add 2 pints of raspberries, 1 cup of sugar, a pinch of allspice and cinnamon, 1/4 cup water and a pinch of salt. The jam has now been simmering away for 30 minutes, and this is the consistency we're looking for. Thick, rich, viscous, and shiny. A good way to tell if your jam is done, place a little bit on a chilled plate and run your finger through it, and it should sit up nicely. Onto the whipped cream, add 1 quart of heavy cream to a chilled mixing bowl. 1 tablespoon powdered sugar, and just a dash of vanilla essence. We don't want to make this whipped cream too sweet, as everything else is pretty sweet as well. Place whipped cream into a piping bag and reserve in fridge until needed. There's probably some people out there making a fancy raspberry puree to coat their lamingtons in, but the secret to an authentic New Zealand lamington is using gelatin, aka raspberry jello. Add 1 cup of hot water. Whisk, but try not to incorporate any air bubbles. Then add 1 cup of cold water. And done. To start your ganache, place a bowl over a pot of simmering water. Combine 1 cup each of bittersweet chocolate and milk. Cover with plastic wrap so it helps the chocolate melt efficiently. After just a few minutes, the chocolate is melted into the milk and the 2 ingredients have emulsified. The hard work is now done, so let's go ahead and assemble these bad boys. The raspberry jello is now just above body temperature. Take your sponge, dip it about ½ centimeter each side. Just using one hand to turn and one hand to hold. Now sprinkle the jelloed cube with shredded unsweetened coconut. Repeat the same process with the chocolate. Place the lamingtons in the fridge for 30 minutes to allow the coating to set. All that's left is to pipe and jam our lamingtons. On the top edge, cut halfway down on the diagonal. Smear ½ teaspoon of raspberry jam. Beautiful. Stuff with whipped cream. And garnish with fresh raspberry. The hallmark of a well-made lamington is the kaleidoscope of different flavors and textures. The delicate sponge, acidic jam, velvety whipped cream, and the crunch of coconut.
Look, I knew we were doing a story in Lamingtons, so I just whipped up a batch. So I made you a nice, because we all know that raspberry is the only flavour of Lamington that you need. Do you not like that? You love cake.
It's raspberry.
Yeah, but raspberry's the best one.
No, I don't eat raspberry Lamingtons. I just eat I only eat chocolate.
Oh no, but raspberry's the best.
Nobody eats raspberry. No,
Try
chocolate.
it.
No.